Hear me out, okay? Diddy Kong Racing, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Metroid Prime 4, plus Hollow Knight Silksong. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. The greatest time to be a Nintendo fan has arrived once again. The goosebumps are flowing. I think I was part goose in a past life. Anyhow, tomorrow we've got a Nintendo Direct, and I'm here with the big predictions video. Make sure to join me on the live stream tomorrow at 6 a.m. 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. That's Thursday. I'll be live streaming the whole thing. We can party and react together. There's going to be 40 minutes of Nintendo Direct goodness, tons of Switch games for 2023 and 2024 with already announced titles and brand new surprises. I got a full chalky list of everything that I think will be there for this big chungus September Nintendo Direct, and I am ready to share it with you. Pioro may be gone, but Zach from SwitchForce is eternal. Let me know in the comments down below what game you're most hyped for to see at the Nintendo Direct. One game, one Switch game, and why are you most excited and hoping that it appears at this Direct? Now, one game that could be there is Whisker Waters, who are the sponsors of this video. This game was just announced today, and what makes it so cool is that it's a cat RPG with fishing as the focus. Y'all remember fishing in Animal Crossing? Well, fishing here has so many more purposes, as instead of combat, you're going to be using fishing to solve problems, defeat puzzles, and move your way through the world, and also connect with all sorts of other cultures of cats. You get to create your cat, but then meet tons of other felines. It's basically Avatar, but with cats. It's releasing sometime in 2024 on Nintendo Switch. I think it looks super cool, and as somebody who hopes to get a cat in 2024, this game holds a special place in my heart. Click the link in the description down below if you want to find out more information. This thing was just brand new announced, but we're going to get a bunch of more brand new announcements tomorrow, and I think we're going to see Metroid Prime 4. Let's start off with the big kahuna, Samus Aran back in the big 3D fashion, the one we've been waiting for. Here's my reasoning. I just can't think of any other game that could close out this show. I can't. I don't know what other heavy hitter Nintendo possibly has left in the Switch generation to close the show. Last time it was Mario Wonder. In the past it's been Smash Bros. Ultimate, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Look, let's be frank. Nintendo is not introducing any new entry to their major IP. We're not getting a new Mario Kart for Switch. We're not getting a new Animal Crossing for Switch. We're not getting a new 3D Mario. We're not getting a new Zelda. Those are all going to be saved for the next generation whenever it may arrive. We're too late in the cycle, and we've too recently got titles, except in the case of 3D Mario and I guess Animal Crossing at this point, but regardless, those are usually big tentpole once per generation titles, so don't expect them. I don't know what else could fill the final slot. Unless Nintendo does not have a final slot, I think it's got to be Metroid Prime 4. Now, this Direct is focusing on games arriving in this winter, but I think Metroid Prime 4 will be a summer title. I think it's going to be a May release. That's what I have picked out for Metroid Prime 4, a May release. I suppose it could possibly be their July title to fit in sort of the Splatoon 3, Pikmin 4 slot. One of those 2 months is where I feel this game will end up coming. I think Nintendo will have a window of a release. They might say 2024, but I think we'll see a full-on gameplay trailer. I think we'll be blown away by the visuals and the scope of the world, and I think our hype will somehow reach new levels for a platform that is 7 years old. So Metroid Prime 4, I'm expecting. Now, Pioro has said Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I really want new Donkey Kong, and I don't think Mario vs. Donkey Kong eliminates other DKs. In fact, I think there could be multiple DK-centric games, given that Nintendo is about to explode Donkey Kong onto their media enterprise with the Donkey Kong expansion to the theme parks and maybe even his own movie. Now, Mario vs. Donkey Kong would be a continuation of the handheld franchise from GBA to 3DS. It would most likely be a smaller title, whether that's an eShop only title or whether that's a game that takes up the $50 price point like we've seen WarioWare use in the past. I'm not so sure, but I would hope that there would be something else DK. And I'm going to throw it out there. Diddy Kong Racing would be sick as all heck. Diddy Kong Racing could fill in the gap that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the Course Booster Pass, and Mario Kart Tour are leaving. Remember, those are all done next month. No more Mario Kart. Unless Nintendo is planning to launch Switch 2 with Mario Kart, there is no Mario Kart in 2024. Meaning Would Nintendo like to get some sort of racer title out there, given that they sell so well, they're incredibly helpful for online number counts, and they're just really big, fun games for the family. Excitebot says hello, but Diddy Kong Racing waves from the yay yonder. It's been forever, but this would be a way to integrate Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, the crew, and a wider cast of characters that do not typically overlap or intrude upon Mario Kart. It's the only real way to have two separate Nintendo first-party racers. I think it'd be super sick. It's sort of my pie in the sky prediction, but I would love another racer. I would love to see something sort of take up the mantle of Mario Kart. In the meantime, it's also possible that Nintendo just wants to let the series lie dormant, let the racer genre on Switch lie dormant, and then revitalize it with a bang with Mario Kart 9 or 10 or whatever they call it, probably in 2025. Now, let's talk about Smash Brothers. I know, this seems crazy, this seems unlikely, this seems like copium, but Nintendo has been restocking Amiibo aggressively. I covered this a while back where somebody on Famiboards went through and did this big deep dive into Nintendo's Amiibo restock. And they're restocking Mario Amiibo, which makes sense for Mario Wonder, but they're also restocking a ton of Smash Bros. Amiibo, which doesn't make sense. They've changed over the back of the box, so it no longer mentions platform, and it's a generic box that can work for now, and can also work for tomorrow, can also work for the future. Now, some people think they're just releasing Smash Brothers Amiibo again so that people can buy them, but I say no. Nintendo always operates with a purpose, and I think something big from Smash Brothers is happening here. It could go one of three ways, in my opinion. Way one is the far most boring way. They add the Smash Brothers Fighters Passes to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack because Mario Kart DLC is over. Now, that's a great value add for Nintendo Switch Online, but most of us probably already have those Fighters Passes, given that they were exciting and filled with characters like Sephiroth and Sora. Number two is that they add a Sora Amiibo, because we're sore waiting for that Amiibo, and then they bring in some new music and some new stages. This would sort of be a middle ground. Smash Bros. Gets an update, we're kind of bringing it back, we're restocking the Amiibo, get excited for Smash Bros. And maybe they also do bring the Fighters Pass to Switch Online as well, as like kind of like, hey, it's gonna be back, and it's exciting, and we're gonna add a few new things for those of you that already have everything. The third, and probably most unlikely but most phenomenally exciting way, is a Fighters Pass 3. This is how you generate huge buzz for Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack in 2024. You bring out the Sora Amiibo, and Sakurai somehow does it again. He's working on Smash Bros. Ultimate. They are making it somehow even more ultimate, and this indicates a secret. The secret is that Nintendo is building out Smash Bros. Ultimate yet again so that they can release an Ultimater version on Nintendo Switch 2. In the same way that Nintendo launched Nintendo Switch with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe shortly after its March release, and that game ended up being the biggest seller on the system, what if Nintendo does not have a plan for Smash Brothers going forward? Sakurai said he doesn't think anyone else can do it at the company. I mean, he said that himself. What if they don't have a plan, and so their plan is just to have Smash Bros. Ultimate be more ultimate for the Switch 2 era and comprise 3 Fighters Passes into the biggest, best package yet, and then they'll let Smash Brothers kind of sit, and when they have something new, they'll pull it out of the oven, and it'll feel like a huge reprieve because it's been so long between mainline games. I could easily see that happening, and the repeat from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for Switch to Smash Bros. Ultimate for Nintendo Switch 2, it makes a lot of sense. It's a parallel you can easily draw. But I'd love to see that Fighters Pass 3, baby. I'd love to see them bring in Waluigi, bring in Geno. We got a chance to revitalize some fan favorite characters that are very exciting. I know Geno's kind of already in the game in sort of his Mii costume, so it's not a thing, but Waluigi could be. And there's also plenty of characters that maybe tie into recently released Switch games or upcoming Switch games that would be very nice. You could even do a Mario movie Mario if you wanted to just add another Mario. But frankly, I do think we're going to see something Smash Bros. At this Direct. I don't think all the Amiibo restocks are for naught, and I think Nintendo, like their history shows, they tie Amiibo restocks into announcements. Something Smash will be here. I don't know how small or how big. I have my fingers crossed for us. But again, like this could shape up to be huge. And Switch Online should get some sort of trailer as well, whether that does include new DLC. If it's not Smash Brothers, I think Mario Party would be a fantastic way to incorporate that into the expansion pack. But maybe a follow-up on what's next for N64, more coming soon for Game Boy Advance. We've kind of exhausted the N64 stuff outside of Mario Party 3. Game Boy Advance, we still have plenty more to go, but maybe they do want to provide an update. September Directs have typically had trailers for Nintendo Switch Online, so whether it is upping the expansion pack side of things, building out the virtual console side of things, I'm not expecting a new system at all, don't count on that, but I do think a future list of games or more value-add, maybe even FZero 99 is part of that value add, but I do think we'll get some sort of Switch Online like separate segment and trailer, and I think it'll be more than just like, oh, this one game's coming. I think they'll lay the groundwork for the future and kind of fill us in on what's going to be happening next for Switch Online, because we're kind of like in a bit of a like, oh, what's next? We have some like games that are still to come, but we don't really have a big plan how Nintendo has laid out in the past, like last September when they're like, oh, here's the rest of 2022 for N64, here's games in 2023. Some sort of schedule, some sort of like title card for the future is what I'm expecting, and I do hope they add new DLC to the expansion pack because it's been a while. Splatoon 2 DLC was great, but we're already getting Splatoon 3 DLC. That could very well be here as well. Splatoon 3 side order we've been waiting for. Splat 3 I feel like has not had as much of an impact as Splat 2, but this DLC I think is where they could really mix things up and where I think they could really sort of separate Splatoon 3 from Splatoon 2 more than it already is, and I'm very excited. Single player DLC is always super cool from Nintendo, and now that the first part of the Pokemon DLC is out, maybe they can focus their attention elsewhere. I'm not expecting anything Pokemon in this Direct. I know Detective Pikachu is out soon, but that was covered again by sort of Pokemon, and they handle most of that. We also saw it appear at the last Direct, and I don't know how big of a focus that is for Nintendo in terms of their holiday titles. I think the Mario stuff is going to get much more focus, and I don't think we're ready for any new Pokemon. In fact, we might be waiting until Switch 2 for the next sort of true Pokemon title outside of, DLC and outside of maybe a spin-off. Kirby could get a spin-off as well. There's been rumors about a smaller Kirby title, and maybe we're indeed going to see a Kirby eShop game like we did last year with the one where he eats stuff. I've heard tossed around a Kirby's a Rainbow Curse type title, which was really good on DS. It used the stylus though, so we'll see how they integrate that, but you can almost always bet on Kirby, and most of the time, majority of the time, you'll be correct. So I think Kirby has a high chance of appearing also at this Nintendo Direct. Now, Hollow Knight Silksong has not been heard from in a while. Last year we saw it at Microsoft's E3 presentation. It was supposed to be out, and it was not out within the year. Team Cherry said that they're still working on it. They have no release date to announce. It's taking more time than they expected, but the game is huge. Is it finally time? I think it could be. I do feel like this September Direct will be lighter on huge announcements and maybe pack in more medium-sized announcements. And for some, I know Hollow Knight Silksong would be the biggest announcement yet, but I do think that it fills for Nintendo, like, hey, an indie taking up a big Direct slot, it could be a nice fill for this September Direct, and a winter release, early 2024, late 2023, either of those would be spiffy, dandy, and downright pollinated. I am so pumped for this game, and it is absolutely time. Now, Piora also suggested Princess Peach will be there with a name reveal and a full gameplay trailer. I fully expect it. I think that game is early 2024, and I hope we see some depth of gameplay that maybe we're not expecting. There's been talks about like Paper Mario exploration with the side-scrolling nature of Peach and the OG Paper Mario 64 exploration. I hope we see that. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon will probably get another trailer with a follow-up on how the game differentiates itself from its original release on the 3DS. Mario Party could honestly appear again. I was picking Mario Party to appear at the June Direct. It did not show. I'm saying we could either get DLC for Mario Party Superstars or a new Mario Party. I think Nintendo would love to cash in on big sellers, sort of nice everybody titles for the final year of Switch. You could say that they'll go risky, but I think something like Metroid Prime 4 is actually meant to be a cross-gen title. So I think for these Switch-only games, it's going to be big, family, everybody type sellers. I'm not expecting too many niche titles, although Hero also says that Trace Memory and Another Code from Wii and DS are getting a remake, and that would be as niche as it could be. So maybe Nintendo is going to opt to fill the months with niche titles and comebacks from franchises that have not made appearances. Does that mean something like a Star Fox or a Kid Icarus could show up? I don't think so. But FZero will be there. Pioro said so. And as much as we'd like it to be a brand new FZero game, it does seem like it's going to be either FZero 99, sort of taking up the Tetris 99 type title where it's everybody playing FZero and seeing who can survive. Honestly, that could be the coolest one yet, so don't write it off just yet, or F-Zero GX, a GameCube drop. Now let's talk about GameCube drops, because Nintendo has included one in the last 2 Directs. February and June saw Metroid Prime Remastered and Pikmin 1+2. What gets it this time? Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, Luigi's Mansion 1, F-Zero GX, Metroid Prime 2. Those are basically your 4 contenders. Pick them as you will. Now I saw something very interesting that I don't believe, but I'm going to throw it out there in case it happens. Zelda, Twilight Princess, or Zelda Wind Waker getting the GameCube slot. Yet that would be awkward because we already have Wii U releases of those titles. At the same time, Nintendo could just pop that out there. They already have an improved graphics version, kind of like they were touting for Pikmin, where it's not a remaster, it's just like an up-res. They have it, they could throw it on there, but would Nintendo want to waste a Zelda as sort of a surprise stealth drop? Or could it be its own 2-pack individually released title in 2024, 2025, and they can just bring that back when they need a first-party filler for a month that seems to be empty? Mario Baseball is something else that could get announced. We've been really eating for Mario Sports this generation. We got golf, we got tennis, we got soccer, thank goodness, with strikers. Are we going to get Mario Baseball? It feels like we will, and if it is going to be the June title, they love to put Mario Sports right in the middle of summer, right when E3 was. I think it could get announced here. It could also be shown at the next Direct. And a lot of this just depends on when Nintendo is planning to unveil and launch Switch 2, how many games we get. Do we have a full list of games? Do we just have a few games? I think you can expect to see follow-ups on WarioWare and Mario RPG. Both of those should be fun to flesh out if you want to purchase those games. Who am I kidding? You're getting Mario RPG. In terms of third parties, I think we'll see Gotham Knights, recently revealed by accident by the ESRB. You know, any old game could appear. Maybe it's time for Dead Space to appear on Switch, but I would hope that we'd get something a bit more exciting. Along the lines of Mortal Kombat 1 coming to Nintendo Switch, something day and date for early 2024 would be nice. Perhaps we see Hogwarts Legacy running on Switch. I don't think we've seen that yet, and it's out in about a month, so it would be good time for that to drop, a trailer. And then in terms of like other third-party stuff, I don't know. I don't think we're getting Assassin's Creed. Call of Duty is not going to be until the next console, so nothing really major in that way, although I'm sure there'll be plenty underwhelming titles and maybe 1 or 2 gems that we're excited for coming to Switch. I don't think there'll be a big indie presence outside of something massive like Hollow Knight Silksong, and I do think we'll have a substantial part of this Direct covered by already announced games, primarily Peach and Mario RPG. I'm predicting to get big segments in this Direct. But what else could be there? There's a lot of opportunity. I think this is when Nintendo can either go wild or they can go kind of generic, and we'll see which way they go. That's usually what happens at the end of generations. You take risks, or you just go with titles that you know are going to do well. But again, huge stuff. What else could it be besides freaking Metroid Prime 4? I think that's what we're going to get to close out the show, and I think that would be a fan-servicey, awesome moment that elevates this Direct no matter what it has. But if it's able to bring in new Peach, Mario, Smash Bros, and Metroid, and Donkey Kong, like, we're looking at a stellar show. I hope you'll join me tomorrow. Let me know your #1 most anticipated game tomorrow. Mine would be a brand new DK, but like a true DK. I don't know. I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'm feeling unlikely about it if Mario vs. Donkey Kong and Minis are in there, but never say never. Nintendo does like to group things, and we could get a Mario vs. Donkey Kong and a tease for a Donkey Kong, maybe even similar to how we got a tease for Peach with just a little smidge of footage just to really whet your appetite. But I'll be ready, probably hungry because it'll be 6 a.m., but I'll be streaming tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. It's amazing to be a Nintendo fan right now, and I'm so glad we get to share it together. So thanks so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Until next time, SwitchForce out.